Joining me now is a UFC featherweight fighter who takes on Ricardo Lamas at UFC on Fox 26 in Winnipeg on December 16th. He's stepping up for the former UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo on very short notice. It is Josh Emmett. Josh, thank you very much for the time. As I said off here, it's been a little while. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. Good to hear, and congratulations on getting this fight. This is a huge step up for you, and you called for this fight, I believe, if I recall correctly. You put out something on social media saying, "Hey, Jose Aldo is hurt, or he's in the Max Holloway fight. Let's get it on. I want to come up to Canada, take this fight, take this big step up," and you got it. At the time when you just first put out that social media post calling for this fight, did you think you had an actual chance of getting it?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a few things that people don't know. There was my name was actually put in the hat for the Lamas fight. Sean Shelby asked a lot of other people, obviously people that are ranked in the top 10, people that are ranked in the top 15, and I was one of the few that wasn't ranked that my name was thrown in the hat as well. So everybody turned that fight down. So kind of the ball was in Lamas's court, and I knew that it was either he'd take the fight against me or he had to wait till a later date, to fight a higher-ranked opponent. And so I was just kind of putting it out there just because I knew what was going on. Like, hey, I'm here. If you want that fight on the 16th, I'll step up and take it. I was thinking if I put myself in his shoes, he's been training for one of the best fighters in the world since September. He's a family man, so he has, he has his wife and his kid. And I was thinking he probably wants to enjoy Christmas with them, So I was thinking if it was me, I would take the fight. So I kind of had a good feeling, so I kind of threw it out there, and he accepted, which I thought he would, and that's kind of how the whole thing went down.
And so when you threw your name in the hat initially, and then when the UFC followed up, did they come to you? Did you directly contact them afterwards? How did that come together?
No, they came to me. They asked my managers because they were actually looking for me to fight in January, and this was just kind of thrown out there too. They told my managers, hey, also Lamas needs an opponent, but that's in like 3 weeks. And then my managers told me I was going to take the January fight, and then they're like, oh, but we got offered the Lamas fight, and man, I just thought about it all night. And the next morning, first thing in the morning, I called them. I was like, it's a short opportunity, but these are the opportunities that I want. And so I told them I want that Lamas fight. So they told Shelby, hey, Josh is a go. And it kind of went from there. Everyone else that Sean Shelby asked, everyone turned it down but me. So a lot of people are, on social media saying, like, this makes no sense and all this type of stuff. But it's like, it makes perfect sense to me because I'm the only one that said yes.
I find it interesting that everybody else turned it down, but when you sort of had to sleep on it, as you said a little bit, make sure you're a bit careful with whether or not making your decision whether or not you're going to take this fight. What are you considering? What did you consider during that process? Like on the bad side, were you just thinking, hey, it's short notice, maybe I won't be at my best, but then on the flip side, you're like, hey, it's a great opportunity. This would put me in the top 5 at featherweight, and that's what I want. It's just sort of a fast track there. Sort of walk me through that decision-making process, and were there things on the flip side that made you almost not want to say yes?
No, not really. So as far as I'll say on the downside, of course, do I wish I had a 6 or 8 week camp for one of the best fighters in the world? Of course. So that's the only thing. But on the flip side, I just fought 5 weeks ago. I was back in the gym fairly soon because I was helping other teammates get prepared for fights. I was training again because I knew I was going to fight in January. So, I'm always in good shape. And as far as the opportunity goes, it was also, I had a 4-fight contract. So my last fight in Poland was my last fight on my contract. So I was a free agent. And so this is setting me up. I had more leverage as far as negotiating power for a new contract. And just the opportunity. I got into this fight game later than most, and I've said it several times. I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 in March, and I've been training with Team Alpha Male, the best team in the world, since 2005. I've seen every single person in our gym, come and just climb the ranks and have these opportunities. And, I knew my time would come, so I just have to keep grinding. And, this opportunity was presented in front of me, and I will never pass up an opportunity like that. I've never said no to a fight either. So I think Sean Shelby, he likes working with me because he knows. He asked me if I want to fight. Typically within 30 minutes, I'm like, yeah, even if I'm not quite sure who the person is, I say, yeah, I'll figure out a way, to win the fight, to fight him. But obviously I know who Ricardo Lamas is. And even before I was in the UFC, I was always thinking like, stylistically, I think we match up really well. And, and then it was put right in front of my face, and I had to take it.
And as far as the contract goes, have you already signed a new deal with the UFC, and will the Lamas fight be number one on the contract, or is the negotiation still something you're working out, leading up to the fight?
Yeah, it was. I actually just signed it yesterday, so I signed a new 4-fight contract. And the bout agreement. So I'm not sure how the fight was leaked last week, but I just signed the paper yesterday. So we were still in negotiation, and so it worked out well, and I signed the papers last night. So the fight's official now.
I think it's really good that you signed a new contract with the UFC just after accepting this huge fight, because you're ultimately doing the UFC a favor as well, doing Sean Shelby a favor, and they realize that. So I imagine the new contract is how much better would you say it is than your entry level contract? Significant changes or not so much?
Yeah, definitely significant changes, and it's set me up for this fight. I just fought 5 weeks ago, so it's going to set me up financially for this fight with a win. And I have in the contract too, when I get the win, they're going to rip that up, and I'm going to get a new contract. So I just got to go out there. I got to, do what I do best, and just perform. I know Lamas is one of the best in the world. He's been at the top for a long time. But like I said, I've been training with the best team in the world. I've been the main training partners for Chad Mendez, Danny Castillo, Uriah. I know exactly where I stack up, and I'm excited to put on a fight for the Canadian fans, for the fans around the world, and I know it's just going to be it just has Fight of the Night written all over it with our style, So I'm super stoked for it, and I'm going to go out there and try to finish the fight.
Well, it really is a huge step up and a huge opportunity. You're unranked. He's, I think, number 3 or number 4 in the division. Going from Felipe Aranches to Ricardo Lamas, you don't see that every day. What do you make of it? This is a situation where you don't have much to lose. If anything, he has everything to lose. There's not going to be much pressure on you from people outside. You yourself are probably putting some pressure on yourself just to perform as you always would. But, what do you make of it all? Is it nerve-wracking? Is it exciting? Is it, what do you, how do you sort of what do you make of it, all of it?
Yeah, so with me, honestly, it's just another fight. He's just another person. He's great, but I think I'm great too. And I haven't I haven't even touched the surface. I haven't even got to show anybody what I'm capable of. My coaches, my teammates, they know exactly what I'm capable of. And so him being ranked 3rd in the world, it doesn't bother me. I'm not super excited. I'm not I'm not nervous. I'm just going to just go out there, and it's another fight to me. I've been doing this so long. I've wrestled since I was a little kid. I wrestled in college. It's just, I love to compete. I love competing in front of big crowds. And I think what it's going to do is it's just going to bring out the best in me, the best fighter in me. I think I'll rise to the occasion, and I've done that several times. Just like in college, I upset the number 4 ranked guy in the country. Just the better the opponent, it'll bring out the best in me. And I'm hoping that's what happened December 16th.
Has Lamas been a guy at all on your radar, just as a guy who now dropped down to the featherweight division? He's been at the top of the division for years. Have you looked at him as a guy who you might end up fighting one day, or have you wanted to fight him, or is this just, he's a top guy, so you're definitely down, but maybe he wasn't, maybe you weren't itching to fight him?
Yeah, no, like I said, before I got in the UFC, I look at people and I just think, stylistically who I'd match up really well against, and he's one of them, So I think stylistically, on paper, his jiu-jitsu, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We were both collegiate wrestlers. He's not going to out-wrestle me. I think we both have great striking. He's a little more elusive with his kicks and certain stuff, but I don't know. I have an idea of what he's going to throw. I also have, one of my teammates and coaches have fought him. Danny Castillo fought him in the WEC. Chad Mendez fought him a few years ago. I've been main training partners for them. They know what I'm capable of. They're helping me prepare for it, as well as, all my other coaches and teammates. So I just think it's, I couldn't have written this any better. It's going to be a perfect matchup and a perfect night.
Now, I know some people probably look at this matchup and think, oh, it's, too much too soon, but I think, those people also have to realize that, as you said, some people do the best, the higher the competition, the higher their performance, and, they're really good at rising to the occasion, and that could happen with you, right? I mean, is that sort of, it might not be too much too soon?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it will happen, and it's never too soon. I from the time I've got in the UFC, I've wanted some of the top fighters. I got in at 155, and I was doing well there. And with that, I don't know, that loss that I had in New York, that I still think I won the fight. That's the only thing that I took away from that was positive. It made me rethink things and decide to drop to featherweight. My goal once I got into the UFC was to fight at featherweight, but since I was doing really well at 55, I just stayed there. So if I would have won that fight as a split decision, I'd still be at 55, and I wouldn't be in this position I am right now. So I really truly believe everything happens for a reason. I got into this sport because I wanted to fight in the UFC. Once I got in the UFC, I want to be a world champion, and that's what I'm gunning for. So this is my opportunity to leapfrog the division, be in the top 5 after I win, and be in title contentions, whether, I have to win 1 or 2 more fights, or who knows. You never know what's going to happen. It's a crazy game, and I'm definitely prepared for this. Everything I've done in my entire life has led me to this moment, and there's really no extra added pressure for me. Just like you said, he has everything to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose. Everyone's counting me out except myself, my coaches, teammates, and family and friends.
Do you feel like you're a better featherweight than you are a lightweight, and how is the cut down to featherweight?
I definitely do. It's a tough cut. 55 was a little challenging making the weight, but I don't know. I just feel like I was the shortest lightweight in the division. And then as far as strength goes, I felt like I could hang with anyone, but they're just bigger individuals. So I would just be in these wars with them. And after the fights, I would just feel, just banged up and beat up and have to take a lot of time off, or I was getting more injuries. But now I feel like I'm on the average to bigger end of the spectrum for featherweights. I feel faster. I feel like, I can get in there. Like after the Arantes fight, I could have fought a few hours later. You know what I mean? I wasn't hurt at all. My shin was a little sore from kicking him, but other than that, I felt great. And earlier on in my career, when I first started fighting, fighting at featherweight, I would go in there, I would finish fights, feel great, turn around, and fight as fast as possible again, quick turnaround. So that's what I'm looking to do. I think I am one of the best in the world as well, and now I get to go out there and test myself. There's only one way to find out, and I get to actually show the fans, because I haven't got to be on, even though I'm fighting in the UFC, the biggest platform there is for MMA, I still haven't got to show the fans because I haven't been on a main card. I haven't, been able to do that. And now I'm going to be on the main card of Fox, so more people will tune in to watch this than, people do for big-time pay-per-view events.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because that was what I was going to ask you about next. How much are you looking forward to being the co-main event of a big Fox card, because typically like the main big Fox events, they have for every year, get the most viewers, sometimes up to, a couple million per show. And especially, with you being the co-main, it's not like you're in the middle of the prelims or on Fight Pass or FS1 prelims or early Fight Pass prelims. You're in the second biggest fight on a big Fox card. Your name's going to get out, going to get out there quite a bit. Even if you do come up short, if you win, then you're sold. But do you think, win or lose, because of the exposure you're going to get, like this is a career-changing fight for you?
Yeah, I think the career-changing only if I win. You know what I mean? As far as I don't know. Like I truly feel I'm going to go in there and win, and it's awesome that I do get that exposure. I Road to the Octagon, they came out and they filmed me for a few days, just a few days ago actually. And then, my name's going to get out there. Like you said, more people are going to tune in. More people will see this fight. I'm going to get to show people how good I am. And, so that's what I want. You put anyone, if I would have been on any pay-per-view cards, I've never had a boring fight. I'm never going to have a boring fight. So I'm going out there. I'm looking to entertain the fans. I come from a wrestling background. I feel like I could take people down and just grind them out and hold them there. But I know that's not what the people want to see. They want to see knockouts. They want to see people going toe-to-toe. And I will mix it up a little, but, I know that we're in the entertainment business, and I am going to go out there and put on a show, and I'm looking to put on a big show. So, I just can't wait for the 16th.
What are your thoughts on fighting in Winnipeg? I actually live in Winnipeg. I'm here right now, of course, born and raised, and I know weather-wise it's going to be much, much different, much, much colder than where you are in Northern California and Sacramento. Are you preparing for that? Are you ready, or are you just going to come here and get inside as quick as you can and never leave?
Yeah, that's my plan. So, a lot of my mom, my dad, everyone's from the Midwest. My dad was from Chicago. My mom was 90 minutes south of Chicago. So I've been out there, and it's cold, but yeah, I've never really experienced that. I've heard Winnipeg gets up to like -15, -20 maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, I definitely not a big fan of the cold, but I'll be dressed right, and I'll be inside most of the time. So it's not going to affect me. I'm just going to go in there, enjoy every moment, take it all in. And just enjoy my journey, and put on one hell of a fight.
Yeah, just for what it's worth, I think I would say an average December day, temperature-wise, we're looking at probably anywhere from -4 Fahrenheit to -13. But on a really cold day, especially with a bit of a wind, you can look at temperatures up to -40 Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's not good.
I'm definitely not ready for that, but I won't be outside.
Basically, just come to Winnipeg, as close to the fight as you can, leave the next morning, and you'll be good.
Yeah, that's what it's like 55 here right now, and I think that's cold.
Exactly. So you'll definitely be a little surprised, perhaps, when you come here.
I guess the only thing that I've been doing is doing like quite a bit of the cryo chamber, and we go in that thing, and it's negative 176 degrees. So, but I can only do that for about 3.5 minutes. So,
yeah. I got to ask you about the situation with Justin Buchholz, one of your coaches at Team Alpha Male for the past year and a bit, your head coach, of course. He recently said that he is no longer the head coach. He is mostly just focusing now on Muay Thai, just once or twice a week. There's sort of been it's kind of a confusing situation, because Uriah, of course, is sort of saying that that's not totally the case. What you call yourself as a coach sort of doesn't matter whether he calls himself the head coach or not. The role hasn't changed. From your perspective, as one of the top fighters at Team Alpha Male, has there been changes as far as what Buchholz is doing, and what is your thoughts on the situation overall?
Yeah, as far as the whole thing goes, we had one head coach, Justin Buchholz. He was kind of running a lot of the program, but I think with Uriah's retirement, he wants to be more involved. So now there's just, it's instead of just being a head coach, and then everyone doing just being coaches, their specific, what they're experts in. It's just kind of everyone's on the same playing field now. So we kind of have like 5, 6 coaches or head coaches, whatever you want to call them, their title. So it's, so we have a lot of coaches in practice. So it's still, it's Buchholz, Uriah, Chris Holdsworth, Danny Castillo, Joey Rodriguez, Fabio Prado comes in sometimes. So it's just like a lot more coaches in the room, a lot more eyes on us. I don't know, it's been going well. Like, just like I say, I learned from all of them. They're all great at what they do. I personally like a sponge, so they give me things here and there. I soak it in. Whatever works well with my style, I'll implement it. But no, not much has changed. It's we just have a lot more coaches doing their things, and maybe that frees up Buchholz' time a little more time, maybe, because he has been. That guy was nonstop, just practice every day, fight week, just nonstop. I think at one point he was gone for 6 weekends in a row just because everyone was fighting. So I don't know, it's good. It's the atmosphere is good, energy is good. I don't know, I enjoy it. I learn from all my coaches. Same old stuff to me. So.
Do you think the new system, and I mean, I guess it sort of is, there has been some changes, but as you said, they're not sort of drastic. Do you think they work better than Buchholz just as the one main head coach?
I don't know. It's all the same, like, okay. If he's just doing Muay Thai, then it's like we can go to his class and do that, but we still implement a lot of the same, like our warm-ups, our drills. They've all been the same for 10 years. So nothing's really, changed. In my opinion, it's still great. It's still the best team in the world for the lighter weights, and we have so many people that are up and coming, and we've got so much more people now. Like we have Sage, Clay, like all Darren Elkins. There's so many people coming, and it's great because then it gives us more looks for training partners depending on who we're fighting. But it's kind of crazy now. We have I think 8 of us in the UFC that are featherweights. So it's nuts.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's certainly one of the better gyms, if not the best, for the lower weight classes, as you said. My last question for you, of course, December 16th, co-main event, UFC on Fox 26. You're taking on former title challenger Ricardo Lamas. How do you get the job done?
For me, it's the fight. It's unpredictable. It's the unknowing. That's why I love it. I'm going to be prepared for it physically, mentally. Nobody's going to break me. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to fight whether I'm injured, tired, and I've done that time and time before. So I'm just going to go in there, no game plan, do what I do best, and I'll find a way to win. The most important thing is I'll have my hand raised at the end of the fight.
Awesome, Josh. Really do appreciate the time. Before I let you go, let my audience know where they can find you on social media, and if there's anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout-out to, the floor is yours.
All right. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is Josh Emmett 155, JOSHEMMETT 155. Facebook, it's just Josh Emmett as well. And then again, I just want to thank, all my fans, friends, family, sponsors, supporters, teammates, coaches, wife, just for everything, Thanks for having me on the show. But I just appreciate the support, and I'm going to go out there, and December 16th, I'm going to shine under those lights and put on a hell of a fight for all the fans around the world.